Hello there, outliers. Niiamah Shang here, and thank you so much for letting me be a part of your journey. I'm going to invite you all real quick as we get started to find yourself where you are, see that you're seated or standing and feel firmly planted, and then let yourself just wiggle a little bit. Just like get your arms moving, get your body moving, whatever it is, and change your energy. Get your energy up for this conversation because today we have an outlier who's here to share their journey and to help us bridge the gap that we do here during the Outliers Edge podcast, which is to help showcase how people are choosing to be leaders out in the world and making epic change and epic leadership come to life so that you can make your biggest impact and do it in a way that is an authenticity to you. There's someone here that I am super excited to introduce you to. His name is Kennedy Wambo. Kennedy, it's an absolute pleasure to be in space with you. Thank you for creating the time to be here on with us here on the Outliers Edge podcast.
Thank you, Niiamah. Appreciate. I'm so happy. Thank you.
Well,
Appreciate you.
yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. One of the things I appreciate is, well, I'll say this way: we took some time before we came here to really get in the connection. And Kennedy, one of the things I love to do to start us off is to really share a bit about like my experience of you as we come in.
Yeah.
And one of the things that strikes me is I'm trying to find the right word about it.
Okay.
I'll just say this: I was very much moved with the time that we spent before we came onto this conversation because we had connected beforehand, and
Yeah.
you wanted something more, and you asked for it, and
Yeah.
you didn't settle for less than that, right? And what I get about you is that you're a man who believes in connection, like real connection, who believes in like being
Yeah.
able to relate, who believes in service too. The questions you were asking, where you were coming from, was really around like what does real service look like in this space, and how do we make sure we create something that doesn't just end up being a one-time thing, but actually can have longer lasting impacts, long lasting relationships from there. And
Yeah.
I want to let you know, like, I appreciate that about you.
Thank
I'm
you,
grateful to be
Niiamah.
in conversation with you from there.
Thank you. Um, First of all, talking, coming out to the audience right now is something great. Actually, you said before we talk with people from where I am, I'm from Cameroon, and we're exchanging to bring out this ideas that we relate and we want to grow and we want to change and bring a world of difference, right? So I'm cool. I'm happy to share your outlets. I'm also good to see how other people relate. I'm good with that, Niiamah.
Yeah, well, that's
I'm
cool.
good.
Let's play with that. I would love to give people a chance to relate to you, like to get a chance to understand your world right now and what you are creating in the world, the difference that you're making. So, would you mind
Okay.
sharing with us here a bit about you personally and professionally? Let us see your world.
Personally, I'll say, should I begin? Let me first begin professional because if true professional, then I'll dive in personal. Okay.
All
So
right.
professionally, I'm a consultant in self-development, and right now, I have it's true. I have a philosophy of life, which is it's true. Is more of it begin more spiritual, but it's just different because you have to think it. You must think it out different. So my professional life is beginning with my consulting skills and without forgetting my entrepreneur visionary life because what struck me first was a vision I had for my entrepreneur journey to begin with this consulting today and managing why preparing for my entrepreneur life and managing the family business today, still being a consultant. Um, it's true, it's quite a lot of complex, a lot of hardship, but we're making it. We have to, if we are here for the world of difference, then we have to see it first difference. before the world see it for us. Nobody will trust us because we are the only people that can see it. So professionally, that's a little bit of me. And personally, you know, here I am.
Would you mind real quick
Uh,
before we get into this? I want to get to the personal part. I want to give room to it, but I don't want to lose something you just said here, because it really struck me. You're like, if we want to go and create a world of difference, we have to see the world differently. You
oh
know,
yeah, yeah.
and I think there's something in what you just said there that like, I'm grateful for because
Oh,
you spoke into existence part of
oh,
why I do it. Like it's
yeah,
poetic. It might be conceptual outliers out there. You may be like, I don't get where he's coming from, but like, or like why that was so impactful for me. But there's something in here that really captures why we do this, why we
yeah,
have the podcast, why we, because it's like we're seeing how people see the world differently and how they take
yeah,
action based on that. You know,
yeah,
so I get
yeah,
it.
yeah,
I'm glad you put that into this space. We'll continue to explore that here.
yeah.
I realize there's one last thing here. It's not just about how they take action. It's about how you create value for yourself and value
Actually,
for others based on that.
yeah.
So it's just like it just felt really right to come put that in, right? Especially right. And now, having said that, I would love to get to know you more personally. What would you like to share?
Also, personally, um, um, I don't know how to really phrase it now for just to talk about me personally, but do you mind telling me, do you mind having some questions to guide me out so that I could just express it
Yeah.
out or
Well, let's let this happen, right? We'll allow it to come out as naturally as it needs to, right? Um,
definitely.
but I get that like you're here to help people grow and and
Yeah, for sure.
and like you talk about visions here. Like I think part of the reason why I wanted to reflect back what you said about the world of difference is that you took the time to see what the vision is that I'm creating, you know.
Yeah,
Um I don't always articulate it. I don't always say it in every single thing. I think it's easier for people to understand outliers edge than world of difference. Um,
yeah,
and so to me that demonstrates what you do as as a consultant in this space, what you do when you're helping people with the vision. My aunt described it to me once. She said, surround yourself with people who can catch your vision,
yeah,
people who can catch your
yeah,
vision. And in that
yeah,
regard, like you really demonstrated that for me, where it's like, look, it's a concept. I made it up. It doesn't exist yet, you know? And
yeah.
at the same time, you caught it. You caught what I was throwing out. So,
You see, it's a fact because many people who have the visions, they are not always accepted. They may not always see what they have. They may not always understand all what they have because they are alone having it. But if you have it, then show us the difference. Nobody will come behind you. You have to show us the difference. So, I mean, that's a bit how I see the visionary part, especially how to get to it. You said something about acting, but I always I think acting is about how much you are conscious of what you have to do, what you have to act, and you know you have to do it consistently so till you see what your vision. So it's a bit just like that, Niiamah. That's how I see it. That's just
yeah,
how I see it.
I feel you on that. Let me ask you right now, what's the vision that you're working on right now?
Right now, the first vision I'm working on right now is on the family business to really see how I can, because almost all of us, like I told you, we from a family of entrepreneur, mom and dad. So almost all of us home, we having a set of competence and small business. So my first vision right now is trying to uh regroup all our competence and one family in your business or something to grow to have a lot of service to the world right now. That's the first one. And part-time doing my podcast, while getting people more conscious on how you have to stick to your vision and see it, even though nobody sees it with you.
That's
That's
cool.
just
That's
living
cool.
it.
Yeah. So let me get this, the vision that you see right now. You talked about the one that you have for the family business.
Yeah.
Um, Curious here, do you have one for yourself as well? Like just so that, and I'm asking here for one
Okay.
because I want to get to know it, but I also like I'm very curious if there's any outliers out there who are listening to this and they're like, oh, I see his vision. Like I can easily like connect with him on that, and we can make that vision come to life. So, you
Okay.
mind just sharing a little bit about that?
It's true. Um, Most of my personal visions are really long term. The first time I had one, I was 23 and I gave myself 17 years to see. But even if I may realize before 17 is what I can say is right now, personally, I have not yet opened one business. You see what I'm saying? Personally, but it's still something to help us consultant. That's what I can say first. It's something to help us consultant. And it's really long, long term something. For now, I can just say like that.
Okay. All right. Well, we're here for it, just so you know. Like we're the community of people who have visions that most people haven't seen. So like if you want to throw
Yeah.
it, I will catch your vision. I promise you that. And, even if when it lands in my hands, I have to like ask more questions in order to get it to settle in it and receive it.
Yeah.
Um, I got you back on that. You brought in something here that I want to call in, which is the 17 years of the vision. You're like, I
Yeah.
got it at 23, and I'm giving myself 17 years to bring it to life. You know,
Yeah.
I think that it's phenomenal. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. Um, One of the things that I am learning this year, just this year, is that great things take time. You know,
I love you.
yeah, and I want to put a little bit of a distinction in here because outliers, we bring on people who are doing cool stuff all the time, who are doing epic things, who are taking on impossible missions.
They great.
You yourself are one of them, right?
They
Um,
great.
and I've also come to the conclusion that or come to the realization that hey, there's a difference between doing something really epic one time and then and having it happen consistently. And there's a difference between having something really epic happen consistently and
Yeah.
having it happen consistently without you. You know, there's there are multiple levels to this thing. There's multiple levels to
Okay.
this ball.
Okay. Okay.
So when I say the 17-year, when I hear the 17-year time horizon, I really respect you in that because
Oh,
what I
thank
get
you.
about it is you'll see a lot of that before the 17 years, but then you'll
Yeah.
also like get the opportunity to actually build it into something really robust.
Yeah, yeah, that's true, Niiamah, because one thing I realized with the entrepreneur world is in the entrepreneur, the winner is the longest term vision. Where your vision finish, someone's visions come by yours. So I was never in the haste to realize one, but I was always in a term of if the vision has to come true, how much how much demand am I going to supply? If not in my place in the world, is what I'm saying. So it takes that much time, especially if in the entrepreneur world where your vision finishes, someone visions come by it. I wanna some people may not appreciate you buying the business. Some people may not appreciate that. Oh, but if you don't want it, then you should have a lot of cautious security risk calculator, all that. It's not like you ain't going to get into it, but you know what you're working. So that's just it.
Yeah, so like it's interesting hearing you say this because if I get you right, you you you're a part of a family business and you're saying that both of your parents are entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. So you have a lived experience of being in the entrepreneur world. And now if I'm hearing you say like the next thing would be for you to go do your own stuff.
Yeah.
It's not right now, but it's at the same time like there are things that you are doing towards that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask you, like, as you're creating out here, I think there's a number of outliers listening to this that are also very closely connected to their family business, right?
Yeah,
What are some of the challenges that you face, and some of the things that you like? Yeah, some of the challenges you face as you're building out your vision. Um, even with the family business there, right?
yeah,
I hear dedication to both. So
yeah,
that doesn't
yeah,
feel like it's even being questioned. So I
yeah.
am curious about like the challenges that you have as you're building your own vision.
Um, First I would say whatever you are visioning, whatever you're visioning as you're living, I think as you're as you're having a vision, at the same time as you're having a vision, at the same time you're living here as a being. Whatever you're taking in as part of your vision or as part of your journey should be in a way with what you have for long term, what you have in your vision. So it's true the family business is already settled and it also needs attention. Like my vision and my journey also need attention. But that's actually why one of the things that made me also to put a very long term to my vision was, the security of a lot of things is how much you group yourself, how much you make all yourself in one. So I always saw my family business somewhere along the line in my vision. Everything. Never without it. Never, because even from the first time I had a very first vision to plan it out and everything, the first thing where I got stuck is um what about the security? It's what I'm saying. It's not all about the product, the money, what you gain, the risks and all that. Is what about the security? So I always came back to the fact that the family business is important. Something grouping is important. Something like that is good for not just me, but for each and every one of us who is part of it. So I've never seen the family business festival to begin like something is out of my vision, but something that I've always seen how to always keep it in line with my vision. So it's not like it's true I'm working on two. It's like I'm working on two different things, but one is to match up for one in the next. So I'm not in a haste to get the next one, but right now, it's important for me to build what is for now for the next. That's a little bit it. That's a little bit it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think that there's patience, and also just like what I also hear is that even when you're not directly working on like your own individual vision, like
Yeah.
you still are, because you're still building towards it with the skills and everything else with what's
Yeah.
happening there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice, 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 nice. So take me in here. Like, tell me right now, if you don't mind. I want to get to know like what you do differently, like how you get like the results that you get in a way that others don't. So, if you had to say, like, if you had to answer this question here, um, what's something that like when people work with you, or maybe even when you're working inside the other business, what's something that you do that most other people, like even if they tried, couldn't get as close, like couldn't touch you on it.
One thing I would say is insightful.
Mm,
Insightful. Uh, is is so pertinent because as all people that analyze things and get things done, we want the details. But the surest difference is not like I'm bragging about it, but the surest difference is how much I'm insightful about the project, how much I'm insightful about the business. It shows the entrepreneur it's like he doesn't have to think much again. He thinks this is his vision, that he just has to follow. It's how much insightful. Why? Maybe if you may be working with someone else, he has to maybe again insist again on that, come back again on that, some set of things like that. It's how much I would say insightful because it's so strong.
yeah. Do me a favor.
It's so
Can you
strong.
give me a like a real world example for you of like that,
I'll say
as it
one.
relates to you?
one of my best example is I think the very first business I was following up in 2022. It started at a deficit of $400, and in about a year it went up to 40,000 plus. But you know, he been on the business before I met in 2022. He been on the business 2 to 3 years on it, on his dropship business, something like that. So once I came in, it's not like he was not meeting other people who could advise him. It's not like he's not strong. He's excellent, so intelligent. But insight is something different. I don't know how to really, if it's something to explain, it'll take time, but I can just say insightful. It's so to get the new things, to see what is not just seen and explained so it can be done. You see what I'm saying? Is something like that that is really, I can say, insightful. Something like that I can say.
Yeah, like I get that. I get that a lot, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
one of my mentors says to see what most people can't see and to say what most people wouldn't say, you know.
definitely,
And I get
definitely.
I'm getting a little bit of that there. That like wraps into insightful for you
But
overall.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that. Um, so let's play in this way here. Um, for any person that's looking to grow in their own insightfulness, how would you recommend that?
Okay, if someone is surely ready, because it's something you must be ready.
Mm.
If you are not ready, I'm not sure you think of it. But if you are ready to get the insightful, I think first is, let me say, I'll put it in three things. Firstly, you must, I'll give example first before saying, when I was in medical school, I knew before I become rich, I must be a doctor. I must be a doctor. But
Can
that
I
was
can I just
many,
I wanted to
yeah,
go back in here with it, but
yeah,
I love how you just put it like when I was in medical school. So
yeah,
allies like Katz, this happens for us here on the Allies at
yeah,
podcast. Like
yeah,
like there's a number of different parts of the journeys that this person's walked in. You know, we're gonna go listen to the story that you were talking about here. But I want you to think for yourself here, Outliers, like where like if you had to go for yourself, like what different roles have you lived? What different like lives have you lived? What different skill sets do you have in here? Because
yeah,
like they just kind of seamlessly like peek out
yeah.
here. But I'm like, oh wait, so you have the family business, you have your own business, you have you know medical school stuff here. Like there's a lot going on. That's going on. All right.
Yeah.
So take us back. So when you were in medical school, go ahead
So
and take us from
I'll
there.
say, you asked a question about if someone wants to be insightful, what is it? I'm like, let me put it in three ways, in 3 points. Firstly, I would say when I was in medical school, I knew to be rich, I must be a doctor. To reach, I must do that. I was not conscious. I was accepting a lot of things that was not really fair. But I insisted on it just because, oh, I knew how it may please my mom, it may please dad, but at the end point, I knew in 20, 30, 40 years time, that may not be fun. So the first point I would say, if you want to be on the way to be insightful, you must be intelligent to accept, and you must be intelligent to refuse. Like no one can imagine, you know what I mean, Niiamah? Like it's something great. You must know, no, I'm intelligent to refuse that in 20 years, I may not be happy to be a medical doctor. In 20 years, just riches from here is not what I feel like is for me. But what I can accept is where can I start from now that in 20 years, I'll still be happy doing that. I begin to accept that. What is going with that? I begin to accept that. I begin to accept it. So with time with what you're doing, more things come up because those are not the things you were prepared for. Those are the things you planned. Those are the things, but you feel deep within you that if you do that, you can keep more accepting of that with time, however the time goes. So I would say if you're on the way to be insightful, you must learn how to be intelligent to accept and intelligent to refuse like no one can imagine. Just even you will not be able to you sit back 2 years back and be like, wow, like see all what I've been accepting. It's help for me and you'll always be happy for me tomorrow. And the second thing I would say is Niiamah, I won't, is to be very honest, is eternally so spiritual and then psychological and is an eternal emotion is in. So the result is the 1% you see, like no one, even you cannot imagine. Because to be insightful, you must learn a lot of practice, a lot of I would say, if you listen to my podcast, you see I don't reject any religion, be it a Catholic, be it a Muslim, be it whatever. I deeply believe in the truth. And that's my third point. There's nobody who has a vision and he's dishonest. And and he wants to know the truth in everything. Anyone who has a vision and who is ready to be insightful, he wants to know the truth in everything. And if you want to know the truth in everything for you, that is what you'll be living. That is what you'll be living. Is like nobody knows, even you. You are beginning it, you are starting it. It's not like you knew when you was 5 years. Like me, when I was 5 years, my dream was to be a medical doctor, but I'm not ending to be one. But I'm happy to what I'm looking on and what I am right now. So the three things I would say for the persons who are looking up to be insightful, I would say be intelligent, learn to be intelligent, to accept, to know what to accept and to what you refuse. Like no one, like you yourself, you can imagine, and you have to know it is eternally spiritual and psychological, and a lot of emotions, eternal emotions are in. So the truth is what must keep guiding you. That's what I'm saying. That's
I
what I'm saying.
appreciate that, Kennedy. Thank you for that. All right, I want to give us some time to like ease our way into the end of our conversation today. So
Yeah, I
let
know.
me ask you this here. Um, if anyone is interested in like continuing down, they've heard your story, they've heard what you believe in, and they want to continue down the path with you. What's the best way for them to be able to do that?
They can join me on my Twitter to reach me out directly. And I'm not much of a media person. I'm mostly LinkedIn just because of professional work. On my LinkedIn, Kennedy Wambo, and on my Twitter, Sir T-Work. Or else, from there we can have something close. Yeah. And my podcast, everyone is there. They can listen to that too. And
What's the name of your
from there, they
podcast?
can see my direct email, cast as God wills.
Say one more time.
Cast as God wills.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
All right, so you
Thank you,
got
Niiamah.
absolutely, absolutely. We have two more questions for you.
Okay.
The next question here I have for you is, what's something you remembered about yourself and you learned about yourself as a result of our conversation here together?
One thing I've got to remember about myself is um first of all, I did not expect this can happen. Someone abroad want to share how, from here, far from here and abroad, So one thing I'll have to learn is deep. Everyone is human. And like you said, the connection is real. So I'll always love to make it grow. Something like that. Something like that.
Awesome. And we end each conversation here with what I call the time capsule question. And this is a question that is designed to, well, let me just put it this way. With the time capsule question, it's just you leaving a message for yourself in 10 years. So you'll be a little bit over halfway, but yeah, it's a message that you're leaving for yourself to listen to in 10 years. What's with the wisdom you have right now? What's the message you want to remind yourself of 10 years from now?
One message I'll remind myself is humility. I have Humility has softened me and also it has weakened me like it has softened me. So no matter how I am, no matter who I am, I wish to always invest in love, joy, peace. patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control, and all that. Because it's not because you have something or because you are something that people ain't gonna breathe. That's just what I'm wishing for. Humility. I
Well,
wish that.
Kennedy, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for bringing your story. Thank you for
Thank you,
bringing your
Niiamah.
experience, your insights, to this conversation.
Thank you,
Uh,
Niiamah.
yeah, most definitely. I'm wishing you all the best, and Outliers, we'll take it from here.
Thank you, Niiamah.
All right,
Appreciate you too.
definitely be well.